Hey there everybody, it is Jemmy with your 20th episode of Curve the Cube. Curve the Cube is a South Florida-based arts, entertainment, and media podcast, and it's aimed at inspiring you to pursue your dreams and really go for it and have a great life, you know. Even if you can't do something like full-time, whatever it is that you're passionate about in life, you gotta do it. You know, we only have one round at this thing called Earth and life, so unless you believe in reincarnation, you know, that's a subject for a whole nother podcast. But anyways, in this life, in the here and in the now, you need to pursue your dreams and your passions and really fill your heart with something awesome for yourself and be who you were born to be. So that's why I want you to listen to this podcast. And this podcast episode's guest is unbelievably inspirational. He's known by many, but really known by few. And what I love about this podcast is it's full of surprises. And today's guest is the one, the only Scotty Fusion. Photographer, magician, actor, producer. He does so many different things. He's phenomenal and a really great person to boot. So very caring and giving and just a great guy. But what's amazing about him is he's lived such an incredible life. From start to where he is now, the journey has been it blows my mind. From the very first gig he got, which I don't want to spoil the surprise, but whoa, to a night that blows me away, a Christmas Eve night that's unlike any other story I've ever heard in my entire life and involves a huge legendary celebrity. So he's done lots of stuff, from working as a musician on a cruise ship. He studied technical theater. He's just done so many different things, and he's been in commercials and been on sets and met some amazing people, and done some amazing stuff. And the cameo claims that he can make are pretty cool. So you're really going to love this podcast. If you ever want to be inspired to just keep going and keep pursuing your dream every single day, doing something you love, Scotty Fusion's story is the one for you. And this podcast is sponsored by Little Smiles. Now, Little Smiles is one of my personal favorite charities. And what they do, their Florida chapter, the whole entire Little Smiles does this, but the Florida chapter, what they do is they go around and just brighten the faces of children in need, whether it's medical needs or they are, you know, living in shelters or whatever they're going through. You know, their house is just burned down and all of their Christmas presents went down with it. Whatever it is, Little Smile steps in and makes it happen. If a kid is really sick and needs some iPad or some other tool that's going to help them with their therapy, you know, Little Smiles tries to help it out. So go to littlesmiles.org and please send in a donation and help their cause. They're incredible. And while you're at it, you can actually go into their store and do a little shopping, which adds some more money into their coffers. And if you put in the promo code Curved Smiles, one word, Curved Smiles, CURVED SMILES, you'll receive 10% off. So go in there, get some cool gear, and also help out an amazing charity. So with that, I'll say sit back and relax. Enjoy this, the 20th episode of Curve the Cube, brought to you by Flintstone Media. Woot! Curve the Cube will now initiate. Scotty!
Hello, Tammy.
Hi!
How are you doing?
Good. This works.
Where?
Let me just relax.
Here? There?
Anywhere. Looks like they maybe have concerts or something out here. Like little small ones. Alright. Yay!
How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Great.
The traveling podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Well, thanks so much for coming.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ooh, so, seriously, there's so much to talk about with you, and I knew that already. But holy shit, there's a lot to talk about with you. So, what I want to do is, because a couple of people did submit fan questions.
Okay.
So what I want to do is I want to knock a couple of those out first.
All right.
To make sure I don't forget.
Okay.
So
be gentle. This is my first time.
Oh, you're
that.
okay. I promise. Right. Gentle touch. Gentle touch. So the most common question was a question I asked you not that long ago, which is Fusion your real last name?
Yes, Fusion is my real last name, and I can show you my driver's license to prove it.
What about your birth certificate?
That's a whole different story.
Interesting. Okay, and Jackie Roberts, you know Jackie.
Yes, I do know Jackie.
She wants to know what your most favorite acting experience was. Now, we're going to go into a lot of stuff, but
wow.
She just wants to know what your most favorite was.
There were many. I think my favorite role is playing father and husband at the moment.
Aww.
But as far as really, being on stage and that sort of thing, I got to play Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors up at the Lyric Theater up in Stewart a couple years ago.
Oh, yeah?
That was awesome because
nice.
I don't sing, but I've always wanted to play the role of Seymour, and I got cast.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, that's so funny. How did you get
favorite.
cast in that? How did that happen?
I went to the audition, and I dressed in full Seymour costume, and I bought a plant.
Why am I not
like
shocked at all of this?
And I showed up, and they said, "You've got the part," without even singing. So then I sang, and they're like, "What the hell do we do?"
So what was it like to perform?
Yeah.
All of a sudden have to sing. What was it like?
It was cool. It was really
Yeah?
awesome. I mean, it's the kind of role that you don't have to have like a Phantom of the Opera kind of voice, and you kind of get through it.
Right.
It was fun. I did some coaching on the side, had coaching done to me.
Okay.
And it was fun. It was really a great experience.
Would you ever bring your singing chops back?
Yeah.
If the role is right?
Yeah, I'm never going to say never, but yeah, if the role is right.
That's awesome. All right. And Melissa Juvengo, you know her.
I do.
She wants to know, I have a feeling there's a little bit of bias behind this question, but she wants to know, was Detective Bivens the best partner you've ever worked with?
Of course it was. Hands down. We had a lot of fun, Troy and I. We had a great time. And it was funny, a week or so ago was his birthday, and I sent a meme to him. And the meme was so funny, it triggered something in my head. I'm like, we have to have a series with just the police team.
Yes, you should do like a web series or something.
And that's in the works right now.
So to clue people in who have no idea what we're talking about, Detectives Bivens and Giggins were the detectives in Jason Pennington's Clowns Have Murderous Ways, and you guys were phenomenal. You played Giggins. And Troy played Bivens, and Troy's Melissa's husband. She's the one who asked the question. So,
yes, so it was great. They're a great couple. I love working with them. He didn't have any previous acting experience, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And he did awesome. And we just had the best time on set. It was good.
All right, so like I said, there's a lot to get into.
All right.
I'm really excited. So what I really want you to do, because I know the answer, will you please share with everybody what your performing debut was? It floored me.
My debut back in April of 1966, going way back, I was a Gerber baby food calendar pinup baby. That was the debut of my acting career.
I swear you have to find this picture.
I will find it.
Somehow,
I
for
will.
me, please.
I will.
Oh my gosh, do you remember what month you were?
I don't. But I mean, I was born in April, so it wasn't a newborn. I was probably like within the first year.
Okay.
And when I was born, I had such a head of hair. I mean,
really?
I had so much hair. My grandfather said I want to buy him a rock and roll guitar because he thought I looked like one of the Beatles. So
you had your full
I had
flock.
a full head of hair. Yeah.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, we gotta track that down. Please find it. And you started really performing when you went into a school theater program. What was that like?
That was cool. Yeah, it took a hiatus for about 12 years.
Hiatus.
Yeah.
You had to get your ABCs down.
Right, to further hone my skills, you understand. And started doing some after-school theater workshops.
Yeah.
In Chicago, which is where I grew up. And that was cool. I mean, I still remember I played a bird. It was my first role, and I had to wear blue tights. And a boy going through puberty having to wear blue tights was just not a good thing.
Did you get a lot of blue ball jokes?
Not at the time.
Did you know blue ball jokes
No, not really. We didn't know what that was. So.
Well, be thankful, because I imagine you would have gotten plenty.
Right. And now that I'm 40-something, I have got no problem getting into a pair of tights, which is just kind of ironic.
Because I've never seen that. I have no idea what you're talking about, ever. I've only borrowed your own personal wedding dress once.
Don't ask.
Yes, yours, not your wife's, yours. And then you got some extra casting in some really awesome
I did.
kick-ass movies.
Well, that was the cool thing about growing up in Chicago, that they did a lot of cool filming there. And the era that I grew up in was the John Hughes era.
Right.
When, Breakfast Club and 16 Candles and Weird Science and all those. And they were filmed, like, not far from my neighborhood. So I got a lot of extra roles for that. If you go back and watch it, you'd never recognize me.
Would you put any scenes that we could like try to catch you in for like a second?
No, and the only really good scene I had was in 16 Candles.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the hood of a car at a restaurant called, I forget now. Oh well, it doesn't matter. So it was a drive-in restaurant, and I was sitting on the hood of the car, and Long Duck Dong comes out with a tray, and he slides across the tray of the car, and he sets the tray down on a window, and the window breaks and smashes. But I was right there, featured in the background, and that scene was actually cut.
No!
But if you watch the movie, he pulls up on the lawn of the party, and the tray is still on the window, which is kind of ironic.
Do you know if there are any DVD like editions that have cut scenes or something like that?
I couldn't tell you. I never looked, but that would be really cool to find.
That would be really cool to find. Did you get close to any of the other actors? I'm thinking like
Molly Ringwald, and I had such a crush on her.
Did you?
Oh my God, I did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What was she like?
Duck!
Private jet coming right there.
Super Dog. That was the name of the restaurant. Super Dog.
Super Dog.
It's still there. It's awesome.
Sounds familiar. Is that where it's a corn dog?
No, it's a giant wiener on the roof wearing a Tarzan outfit.
Okay, yeah.
But it's in Chicago. It's still there. It's every chance I get, I go back.
Yeah. So did you get to talk to Molly?
I don't think I did. I think I was too shy and I was so taken in. But that was really the turning point that I knew that's when I wanted to do movies.
Yeah.
Because it was just such an amazing experience. And
how old were you? Around how old?
16, 17, something like that.
Perfect.
And they had recreated the interior of the house that Molly Ringwald lived in a gymnasium in a high school not far from where I lived also. So I got to take a private tour of the set, and I couldn't believe that they recreated this house in this gymnasium.
To like they took the old set, and they recreated or that was the set for the movie.
That was the set. They shot all the exteriors outside the house, but all the interiors were shot in this gymnasium.
No
and this
kidding.
Recreated. Yeah, and that was when I learned about the magic of movies, and I'm like, I have to be a part of this.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
What was the set like? Like what was the vibe like on those things? Was it? Because I imagine like you Brat Pack, you think like everyone's just hanging out having fun.
Yeah, it was magical. I mean, for that particular time that I was there, it was just Molly Ringwald. She was the biggest name on the set, and her parents and her grandparents when she got felt up and that thing.
Can I tell you that scene still disturbs me?
It disturbs everybody. Yeah.
Like, no, my eyes. It's terrible. All right, and let's see. Yeah, what did this influence you and what you liked out of pop culture? Because if you grew up in the 80s in Chicago and all this was going on, like, I mean, I think there's no better definition for the word pop culture than the 80s. I mean, that's kind of when that all started to really bubble up.
Absolutely.
Did that influence what you ended up liking and what movies you ended up going to see? And
yeah, I totally grew up with that whole teen thing. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which was shot down there.
Yeah.
Hanging out at Wrigley Field, and that's what we'd do. We would cut school and we'd go hang out at the Cubs games, and when the camera panned over, you knew to duck, because otherwise your parents would see you on TV. So we'd hang out in the bleachers, and with the Blues Brothers were filmed there, and we'd go walking around all the cool places that was shot, and it was definitely very influential on my life.
Did you have any other buddies from that time that you know that did anything like what you're doing?
Not from that time period. As I got older, I performed for another troupe. We did a lunchtime soap opera that was done live, and every week the story would change. And one of the cats in that was Michael Shannon. And Michael Shannon's been in everything. I mean, he was in Superman and 8 Mile.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, dude, I used to hang out with him in his apartment.
For real?
And now when I see that he's got his own action figure, it just pisses me off. But in all seriousness, I actually had a custom Scotty Fusion action figure made.
No way.
Because I felt so bad. Yeah.
Did you really?
I really did.
Who made it? You made it, or you actually found it?
You scan your head and your picture, and you send it in. They cast it. So my wife thought I was nuts, but I'm like, yeah, Michael Shannon's got his own superhero. I got my own action figure too. So.
Something tells me your wife still wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
Your wife is very right. Woo! Jet plane number 2. All right, let's see. I know you also went to University of Wisconsin, but you said you majored in technical theater and photojournalism. So 2 questions. What the heck is technical theater?
Technical theater is everything that happens behind the stage other than acting.
Okay.
So it's lighting, it's sound design,
Okay.
it's set construction, it's stage management,
Okay.
it's everything that goes into the production except for acting.
Can I ask you two questions that I, for some reason, never bothered to Google, but have always bothered me?
Of course.
What the heck is a best boy, and what the whole heck is a key grip?
I don't know. Best boy.
Okay.
That's a movie term that I don't really know. But a key grip I know does. He he literally picks up stuff and moves it. Lighting gear and that sort of thing. A grip, key grip. Yeah.
Okay. So what did you? So you learned all of that production stuff
Yes,
and everything.
exactly.
Did you do live productions? Like, were you involved?
I
in
did.
actually?
That's really what I was going to go into. When I was a little boy, my father said to me, because I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
He said, "You know, there's a lot less starving technicians than there are starving actors."
Oh, that is.
And that resonated in my head and still
such
does
a
to this
parent
day.
thing to say.
So I said, okay, and I went into technical theater.
Yeah.
And I started going to the design process because I really liked drawing at the time also. So I did set designs and construction. And then I moved over to the audio world, and I was an audio engineer for a long time.
Okay.
I went out on tour with Joe Piscopo, and I worked with
gosh.
Marie Osmond, who, by the way, is one of the meanest people I've ever met.
What?
Yeah. So
No.
she's not going to hear this, is she?
Kidding. Well, only if I send it to her personally. You know, my concierge.
Yeah. So I did audio for a long time. That was my main forte.
Oh my gosh.
And once I moved down here to Florida, I had a accident that actually blew out my ears, and I'm
Both?
pretty yeah, and I'm fairly hearing impaired right now, so I couldn't no longer do sound. So I
Yeah.
started doing lighting, and that's kind of how I got into it.
And how about the photojournalism? Why did you major in that?
I've always enjoyed taking pictures.
Okay.
Even in high school, I was, the photo guy who went around for the yearbook. And actually, that's a funny story because I was too small to play football.
Okay.
But I wanted to be down on the field with all the guys because the guys got the cheerleaders.
Ah.
But by being the photo guy, I was able to get the press pass, so I'd get to go and hang down with the football players. But of course, the cheerleaders all wanted their pictures taken for the yearbook,
There
so it's
you
like I was scoring more girls than the football players,
kind
which
of
was really funny.
use a little bit of a Peter Parker appeal and got behind
Right?
the camera lens.
Exactly.
Look at you.
So that's what started my passion for photography.
When you start off with subjects that are cute girls,
Exactly.
like, kind of, I get it.
And it's scary because I got a son around the same age right now who's
Yeah.
getting into photography, and it's like, oh, geez.
Eli.
Yeah.
What's he like?
He's awesome. He's like a little me.
Is he?
In almost every sense of the word, except I love performing. He could care less. So,
What do you think he's going to grow up to be?
I think he's going to do something with advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Some either photo or advertising or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a chip not too far off the block.
Right. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, and you also, let's see, where was I in your, because you had such an incredible resume. I just was like, what in the what? And you said, okay, so this is a little foreshadowing to something later, but you played Bugs Bunny and Sylvester the Cat at Six Flags. What is that? Like, you just got dressed up in the costume and, like,
Yeah.
entertained the kids and stuff?
Yeah, for my summers,
Yeah.
I was working in the theater there as
Yeah.
an audio engineer. But on my days off, to make extra money, I would dress up in the theme park characters, and I would spend the day walking around the park and, greeting guests and that
How
sort of
hot
thing.
and gross is it getting
It was
there?
really hot and gross.
Did you ever,
So-
like, make funny faces? And
All the time. It was a funny thing because I would catch myself inside these huge heads, posing for pictures, smiling. I mean, no one could see my face, but they're like, okay, here we go. And I'm like smiling, big smile inside.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell are you doing, you idiot? So, but it was funny. It was a good time. Sylvester the Cat was awful. It was a black fursuit, and we'd spend our
Right.
days walking around on the blacktop, and it was so hot and so disgusting.
And dealing with he has a tail on him too, right?
He does. So the kids were like pulling the tail, and it was just
Oh
awful.
man, that sounds terrible.
And the worst experience was I was in a Bugs Bunny costume, which is pretty much just a head in a polyester red, white, and blue suit.
Yeah.
And some little kid came up to me and said, "Hi, Bugs Bunny. Do you have a penis?" And he punched me right in the narcs. He tumbled Bugs Bunny over right in the park.
No
Yeah.
way.
It was at that point that I knew I would never do children's entertaining again.
Oh, if you don't get a red flag from that,
Right, yeah.
nothing will tell
Right.
you not to do. Wow.
But there were a million stories from those 2 summers. It was, yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. How did you get involved with like cruise ships? Like, how did that transition? How did that come?
And then I got out of college.
I told you guys there's a lot to this dude.
And this is so difficult for me. I know you may find this hard to believe. The one thing that I hate talking about more than anything is me. I truly hate it.
Well, you're doing an awesome job.
I'm just trying to get through this. As
and
great
you're
therapy.
fascinating, so just suck it up.
Go with it. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, so how did you get involved with cruising?
Cruising. I got out of college, and on a whim, I went down for an audition for Gene and Ryan Productions, who did all the major entertainment on cruise ships, and they were looking for technicians. I'm like, well, I'm a technician, and I was out of school. I was tired of living in my parents' basement.
Yeah.
So I went and auditioned. They said, all right, we'll let you know in like 3 months, we'll go through it. And 2 weeks later, they called me.
Oh, wow.
And my parents were in Europe at the time, and they're like, hey, could you come work on a ship? I'm like, yeah, I guess. So I packed up my bags, and I came down to Miami.
Oh, my gosh.
And driving down into the port, there were these huge, huge ships. There was like the SS Norway, which was one of the biggest ships at the time, and another huge ship right in front of it. And docked in between these huge ships was this tiny little ship. And I'm like, please, don't let that be my ship. Please don't let that be my ship. And sure enough, it was the shittiest little ship that I've ever been on. It was called the Sunward 2. And it made me wonder whatever happened to the Sunward 1. But
exactly.
if it was half as bad as this one, it was awful.
Oh, how long were you on it?
Almost 3 months. It was an 8-month contract, and it was the worst experience I've ever had.
Really?
I mean, the ship was bad. My cabin was right next to the crew mess where the crew ate dinner. And at night, I would feel like this tickling on my face.
What?
It was fucking roaches.
No!
Yeah.
No!
Yeah, it was so bad.
No!
My roommate was the DJ on the ship. So I'd get off work at like 10 o'clock, but he'd go till like 3 a.m.
Right.
So he'd come home stumbling drunk.
Possibly
I'd be in
with
bed,
girls.
Often with girls. And it was awful. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how many times I rolled over and I saw I had the bottom bunk and his legs hanging off the top bunk with a half-naked woman standing next. I'm like, this is not... And I got out. And they wouldn't let you break your contract unless you had a family emergency.
So what did you say?
So I told them my mom was going through rehab and I needed to be home.
You are hilarious.
And they granted it and they let me go. And I said, I am
gosh.
never going back on the ships.
Oh my gosh. I can imagine.
3 months later, I took another contract working for a different cruise line, and it was the best experience.
Really?
I worked there for 5 years straight. And they gave us officer status. We were living on the top of the ship.
Oh, wow.
It was the schnizzle.
Totally different.
Yeah. And
I imagine you get to just like pocket so much of your money because...
I couldn't spend it fast enough. There was nothing to do. I mean, we'd be in like the Caribbean. All you could do is buy gold and stereo electronics at the time. And, once I looked like Mr. T and I had the biggest boombox on the ship, I mean, there was nothing else to buy. So it was just... Yeah.
I would pay for those pictures too.
I have them somewhere.
Oh my god! And then you studied improv.
I did.
Wow. What did you learn about yourself when you studied improv?
That was really cool because you do learn a lot about yourself and others and how people think and how to work through situations, no matter what it is, whether it's in a business environment or you're dealing with a waitress or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. The place that I went was I wanted to go to the Second City because that's where everyone was going.
Of course.
And, anybody who went to Saturday Night Live, that's you came from Second City.
Yeah.
But of course, I had no previous skills, so they said you have to go to our preschool, which was at the Victory Gardens Theater down there, which was also not too shabby of a theater. And I met the dude there named Ben Hollis, who was my improv teacher. And he was also hosting a TV show on Channel 11, WTTW down there. And I'm like, I need to be involved with this. And I took it for 2 years, and it was really great. It was a lot of fun and a huge...
Was it like a workshop?
Yeah.
And you still performed for paying audiences as well type of thing?
Right. And as you get better, you start doing more performing. And at that time, cable TV was really in its infancy.
Yeah.
And somehow he had a connection, and we actually wound up doing 2 cable TV improv shows that are still out there. If you Google them, you can find them.
Oh,
one of them is pretty funny.
Goodness.
One of them is the worst thing that has ever been on TV.
And it's called... And it's called...
And it's all out there.
And it's called...
Uncle Ben's Playhouse was the good one, and Insane People was the horrible one.
Oh my goodness. What were they about?
One was strictly improv. We had a live studio audience.
That was the Uncle Ben's?
Yep. And that was really a lot of fun because it was improv on TV. No one was doing that.
Yeah.
Before Whose Line Was It Anyway? And any of that. And it was really a fun experience. And then the second one, there was me and 2 others. And the key to improv, no matter what happens, you're supposed to say yes and how you contribute to the scene.
Yeah.
Well, there was me and the other dude who knew all about yes and.
Yeah.
The girl that we were with, her motto was like, no and no. So no matter what we throw her
Not
way,
even no, but just no and no.
No, absolutely no. I'm not her. I don't do this. It was like pulling teeth. And like I was playing the host of the show. My name was Michael Pussmore, and I'm insane. And I was interviewing these two people.
Yeah.
And about 10 or 15 minutes into it, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. She was giving me nothing. So me and the dude swapped places. I became the interviewee.
Yeah.
He became the interviewer. And it sort of worked, but it's probably one of the worst TV things that had ever been out there.
Was it just a one-time thing?
Yes, thank God.
Oh my God, I so need to look these up.
Yeah, I'll send you a link to them. It's pretty
crap.
funny.
Yeah. It's probably total gold.
It is pretty.
I'm looking. Have you ever seen, oh shoot, it's an old film, Reefer Madness?
Years ago.
But when you're talking about just like it being just ridiculous, I'm thinking about, I mean, I'm sure it's totally different from Reefer Madness, but it's trying to make me laugh in the same way. I'd just be laughing at it.
You would. I mean, whenever things start going wrong, I just pull out a prop, whether it was a rubber snake or I'd answer my shoe or just something.
Right.
Just something. God help us get us out of this horrible situation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, I did a comedy improv internship, but it was only one summer. And it was,
do it again?
Yeah, I really want to. It was up in West Palm off of at the old, when it was the Quillo. Mm-hmm. And it was a lot of fun. It was the same thing. Like we did, I think the workshop was like once a week or twice a week, something like that. And then the shows, we helped out like behind the scenes stuff. Cool. And then those are also once a week. And then at the end of the summer, we actually got to do like a student show. Awesome. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Cool. It totally takes you out of your comfort zone, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
What do you prefer, scripted or unscripted stuff?
It varies. They're two different beasts altogether. Yeah. And actually, that kind of segues to the next thing. One of the exercises that we had for doing improv was the assignment was to go out and do stand-up. And I had never done stand-up before, and that's the ultimate improv. You know, going out there and says, you in the audience, and I got up.
And a microphone that is nothing but amplifying you.
It was nothing. And I did it, and I loved it, and I killed it. I'm like, this is awesome. And it was such an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to do more of this.
What was it that you loved? Was it the audience reaction, or? It was
everything. It was being the center of attention. I'm rolling my eyes right now for those of you who can't do this. It was that. It was the realness, the spontaneous of it, the timing. Yeah. I mean, I did have some scripted stuff, but I would just kind of go out and wing it based on some ideas that I had.
Really?
And I'd just let it spin and, create its own beast. And there were things that I would throw back to, but it was really a lot of fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I know a lot of, sometimes from what I know about stand-up comedy, which is not a lot, but from what I do know about it, a lot of comedians seem to like have their act pretty much down, where they might workshop a few jokes here and there, but they pretty much have their act down. But from what you're saying, it sounds like you just went by the seat of your pants and kind of had maybe like a nebulous cloud of ideas.
Yes.
And that's very different.
At the time, that's what I was doing.
Okay.
The older I got and the more I did it, it really started morphing into a set list. I knew where I had to go. I might jump around within that set list depending on how things were going, but it really became a whole different beast.
Yeah.
And so I wound up doing that professionally for a long time.
Where did you travel a lot with that?
I did. And everybody thinks that the life of a comic is glamorous. That
I'm assuming it's terrible. I'm imagining motel rooms with more of those cockroaches you're describing.
It was really bad. The first paid gig that I ever had was at Catch a Rising Star at Bally's MGM in Vegas.
Okay.
And I figured, this is it. This is what it's always going to be like. This was it.
Was the theme of that, because I'm not feeling, was it basically like taking people who were just coming up and kind of trying to shoot them into stardom kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Like a Star Search type of platform, but not the contestant type of it, but just...
I mean, also back in the 80s, the comedy club circuit was so hot. I mean, that was like... There were comedy clubs everywhere. You couldn't go 2 blocks without going to a comedy place.
Yes.
So they would, take some headliner names, but then they'd also, have feature acts and then openers and, depending on how good you were, and you'd work your way up.
Right.
And so I thought that was what the life was all about. I'm like, this is really it. I'm going to be performing in Vegas all the time.
Yeah.
Then reality hits. Like, oh man, what do you mean I got to go to Des Moines?
Just the traveling part of it.
And it was hard. It was really hard. you know, you'd go, you'd drive all night, you'd get to the city, you'd sleep for a while, you'd go to the venue, you'd do 2 shows, then you'd schmooze with the club owner afterwards, and back in the time, you know, drugs were rampant.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was never my scene.
Yeah.
So I would have to party all night with these, you know, other guys who were doing coke and all this other shit that I just was not into.
Yeah.
And then have to get in the car and drive with them. I'm like, well, no, I'm not letting you drive because you've been doing drugs. So I'd be the schmuck having to drive everywhere.
Right.
And it just got so old. I mean, I wake up in hotel rooms not knowing where I was or what was going on or, you know, anything.
Right.
I'm like, this is not the life for me. And then, I just couldn't deal with that lifestyle anymore.
So when you came to that fork in the road, what did you do? Where did you go from there?
Back to cruise ships.
Look at that.
Because I said, hey, I don't have to travel anywhere, and if I do,
well, you do,
I'm
but you're not doing it. You're not doing any efforts.
Exactly. So I started doing well, actually, when I was a kid growing up, can I backtrack for a little?
Yeah, go for it, please.
When I was a kid growing up, I did magic. That was my thing. I was little Scotty Fusion doing magic.
Aww.
And my grandfather, step-grandfather, he was a professional magician back in vaudeville.
Oh.
So he took me under his wing, and he
kidding.
was always, you know, teaching me card tricks and coin tricks and all kinds of stuff, and I really loved it.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I put it on the back burner when I started doing, you know, comedy and stuff, and I thought, hey, I got all this shtick in my closet, you know, I'm going to start doing magic.
Yeah.
So I started intertwining the magic with the comedy, create this comedy magic act.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was the best of both worlds. It was funny, and yet you didn't have to rely on punchlines, and the punchlines were the magic.
Yeah.
Just shtick, always shtick happening. You know, there's always something going wrong, and that was the basic theme of my show. That no matter what trick I did, it would turn to shit, but something magical would come out of it.
Oh, cool! Like it would catch people off guard. They'd be looking one way, and then
or like I'd borrow a spectator's watch and I'd make it vanish, or it would wind up smashed. But like 2 tricks later, I would find that watch in a different place. Going, hey, is this your watch?
Oh, awesome!
So everything came full circle, but it was just such a convoluted mess. It was like, like Tommy Cooper. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his stuff, or Paul Daniels. It's like funny comedy magic.
You know what though? So in my Googling of you,
oh dear,
I found a video that is hilarious. It looked like a demo reel from your cruise ship days, and one thing that I love that you did, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. When I was little, I had the biggest crush on David Copperfield. And the biggest memory I have of him is he's doing a dancing tie trick. And in your demo reel, you're doing there's like this little tie that's just dancing out this. I was like, yes!
Yeah, my little dancing handkerchief.
Yes, the handkerchief, yes. I was like, that's awesome. So what were your influences, both, from magic to acting to everything? Like, what are your influences? You mentioned your grandfather.
Yeah, there's so many. My grandfather definitely was an influence on my magic ability. Again, growing up when I did, Doug Henning had his TV specials on all the time, and I loved Doug Henning. It was always so magical. As hokey as it is now to go back and look at it, but always something so magical happened, and that was really...
What were his shows?
He had the Doug Henning magic shows. He would do specials all the time before even David Copperfield was around. And he was like this hippie dude who always like, it's magic and there's rainbows.
Was it something local to Chicago?
No, I mean, he was a known magician, and he was just really a cool dude.
What's the name one more time? I'll look
Doug Henning.
Doug Henning.
Yeah. And when you see him, you'll recognize him. He always wore tie-dye clothes. He had buck teeth and long, like, hippie dude hair.
Brown hair?
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
So he was a major influence.
Okay.
And growing up in Chicago, we had the Bozo Show.
Oh, yeah.
And within the Bozo Show, they had Wizzo the Magician. Well, Wizzo the Magician, he was awesome. So I was always been drawn to both magic, and because he was a clown, the comedy. So I've had a lot. Growing up, I also like, Jerry Lewis movies and Dean Martin. And
I can totally see that.
So, I mean, people often say that I remind them of Jerry Lewis. Yeah,
and
I'm okay with that. I mean, the guy was phenomenal.
Totally.
Yeah.
I can absolutely see that when you say that. That's so fun. And then, so after you did magic on the cruise ship, and somehow you end up on TV shows. How did that turn?
Yeah, I had a hiatus for a while. Again, the hiatus word. Where I took some time off when I started getting married. I met a woman on a ship. And we're not even going to discuss that further.
No worries.
Here.
No worries. We're going to bring it up.
We moved back to Chicago because that's where my family was.
Yeah.
And to pay some of the bills, I did TV extra work. So there was a lot of stuff filming in Chicago at the time. There was The Untouchables.
Yeah.
And Missing Persons with Daniel Trevante. So I did a lot of that. It was.
How do you always end up getting? Because okay, so people who want to do like acting or music or something like that. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of times people are like, but I don't even know what that first step would even be. And it seems like no matter what, you were like, hey, I want to try this. Hey, I want to try this. You knew how to get into it, how to get your foot in the door. How do you do that?
A lot of it, honestly, is luck.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is research. But there's so many opportunities out there, no matter what it is you're doing, whether it's music or drama or photography or whatever. The doors are there for you to open. You just need to find them. And with this day and age, with the internet, you could find anything that you need to. I mean, back in the day, it was harder because you'd have to go to a phone book and you have to call up and find the agents,
newspapers,
and physically go and knock on doors to deliver your materials, which was a VHS tape or whatever, your headshot, and yeah, it was really difficult, but it can be done. And there was a lot of times that I wasn't successful, and a lot of times that door didn't just open, and a lot of things that I kick myself for that I had missed out on because I was just in the right place at the wrong time, if that makes any sense. Yeah. One of the biggest regrets I ever had, I auditioned for a movie called Hero with Dustin Hoffman, which was being filmed in Chicago. And I went to the audition, and I got called back, which was so exciting.
Of course.
There was like thousands of people, and I got narrowed down and narrowed down and narrowed down. And they said, we'll let you know. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and they never called. And I was in the process of moving to Las Vegas, and I never heard from them. I moved to Vegas, and then a couple weeks later, my cousin came out and brought my stuff, and he brought my answering machine. And on my answering machine, they had called me up and said I got the part, and I needed to call him back, and it was like 3 weeks too late. I'm like, FML.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I can't.
So I can't either. I'm like, how my life might have been different? I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
So there's plenty of missed opportunities.
You know what though? I don't see it as a missed opportunity. You know why? Because it brought you into my fine presence.
Exactly.
If you had been a big shot, we may have never met.
At the time, I really did kick myself. But,
no, I totally
now,
understand
I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
The stars always align to get you what you want. And when you put it out there, whatever it is you want, you put it out in the universe, and you will get it. So you better be damn specific on what it is that you really want.
Yeah.
And,
what do you really want?
That's a really hard question. And the older I get, that changes. Right now, I just want to be content. I want to have enough money to pay my bills. I want to do the things that I love to do. I want to hang out with the people that I like hanging out with. That, to me, is the most important thing. I was listening to another one of your podcasts earlier today, and Jason Pennington says, you know what? The reality is you're going to die someday.
Yeah.
It might be tomorrow. It might be in 50 years.
Yeah.
But you need to make the most of every single day.
Right.
And, that's really what it comes down to.
So let's talk about how, because there's still so much we could get into, but let's talk about how you're making every day count in more recent times.
Okay.
You're doing so much stuff, and well, first of all, let's start with. Do you mind bringing up your day job? What do you do?
I don't mind bringing up my day job.
Okay.
I work for a company down in Boca Raton.
Okay.
It's the Multi-Image Group. Ding 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 ding. That's the flag. If you're listening, boss, I love you. And we do corporate multimedia. Okay. And what that means is we do staging and lighting and video and teleconferencing and all kinds of amazing things. Content for touch screens and trade show booths and all kinds of neat stuff like that.
Awesome. And you travel a lot for that too.
I do. I'm a technical director, which means I oversee all the departments when we go out on location. And our company is global. I mean, we just did stuff in India last week. Fortunately, I didn't have to go, but...
I was going to say, I didn't hear about that.
No. You would have heard about it. But we do stuff everywhere, which keeps me traveling a lot, which is both really cool and the downside at the same time. But it's a great job. If I have to work, and I do, I totally respect it, and I love what I do.
Good. Yeah. And those travels might lead to things. I mean, I don't want to be specific because I don't, want to say anything I shouldn't. But I know that you're kind of really taking on your photography lately.
Yes.
I'd say for the last year that I've been watching very closely. I mean, I've been secretly saving your stuff because it's so gorgeous.
You have?
And yeah. I literally have a collection on my computer, Scotty Fusion collection. And so, I know, you take pictures like at every opportunity when you're traveling on an airplane, sitting in an airplane seat. You can find the most gorgeous pictures and capture them. Where does your eye come from? Well, no, eye come from. Skip the joke, Fusion. But where does how do you see the world that way? I think you see it a little bit differently than people. You see an opportunity in everything you see.
Yeah, I guess I kind of do. I've always had an artistic sense. Mm-hmm. I've always had the ability to see things in 3 dimension, if you will. Mm-hmm. And my years of photography in college as well, it helps you look for contrast and color. And again, I did art for a long time, and I think I'm really blessed that way, if you will, and cursed at the same time.
How's it a curse?
Well, like growing up, for instance, my teachers insisted that my parents take me to be tested because they thought I had some kind of learning disability. And as it turns out, I tested off the charts. I was super smart, but I was so creative that I was bored with school.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time, there was no gifted programs, and there was no programs for, magnet schools for kids to indulge in the arts. I had to sit there and take all the crap, the reading, the writing, the arithmetic stuff. So it was really difficult because I didn't want to be in that environment, but I'm a kid, and that's what you had to do.
Right.
So I always kind of felt like I've been tied artistically, and it wasn't until I got to high school and college that I let my artistic side start coming out. And it's been a struggle because I think that, I would rather be doing something artistic all the time.
Right.
But I wouldn't say it's unrealistic. It's very difficult to do.
Right.
And especially when you have a family and you have certain things that are expected of you. It's hard to throw caution to the wind. And I've never been brave enough to let go to see what would happen. I think it might be okay, but that's kind of an insecurity that I still have.
Well, it's I think it's always smart not to try to tackle the whole mountain at once, and so if you just take one step at a time, you'll be fine. And other things that you're doing are certainly getting you attention. Like Weird Wednesdays with the KVJ show. So how did you first meet the KVJ show?
I met them, actually I met Virginia first. She was doing the Taste of Little Italy up in Abacoa. And I was hired to do Stringster, the character mascotted cheese. Yes, I was a giant stick of cheese. And they had a cheese building competition, and that's where I met Virginia for the first time. And it was kind of funny. A year or so later, she started going through her divorce. I started going through my divorce. But my son, who was really little at the time, knew them because I used to drive with them in the car.
Yeah.
And when I got divorced and she got divorced, one time he looked up at me and said, "Great, you can marry Virginia now." And I don't know if she remembers that, but I sent her an email saying so. And it was very funny. So that's really how I first met her.
Yeah.
And then I just became a fan. I started doing goofy stuff and sending Photoshop pictures of them in. And
you do really, really good stuff, and you're fast too. It's like they'll be talking about something, and then half an hour later, like, oh, I just got a text from Scotty Fusion with our faces on, Leprechaun or whatever. It's like, and you nail it every time. It's not even just the artistic skill to create the graphic side of it. It's also the comedic peppering that you put in there of like, how to make people laugh and how to make it funny, and it's really impressive.
Oh, thank you.
You have a really good vision.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, and so what do you do with Weird Wednesday? I know you have like a reputation of almost having as many, possibly more costumes than Jason.
I have more costumes than Jason. And it drives him batshit crazy that I say that, but I think it's true.
What are some of the goofiest ones?
Oh, God, I mean...
You know what my favorite one is?
What?
The one that makes your butt look funny.
The one that... my robot costume?
Yes. I can't help but laugh.
Well, thank you for noticing, I think. Yeah.
I told Lindsay, she's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. I got a lot of really cool costumes. Being a theater dude, I've always, kept stuff, and It's funny that one of my wife's friends, whenever she comes over, she looks in my closet to see what kind of costumes I got going on there now, and she just rolls her eyes. She thinks I'm like kinky as hell because we do those role-playing things. Like, no, that's just Scott's costume collection.
And like most recently, you got the Smugs. You made a Smugs Bunny costume for Kevin, and you're always thinking about fun stuff. Yeah. And then I also know you do you've done you've learned physical things, not only with your magic, but like how to do stilts and juggling. Does that come back from your grandfather, or is that something you learned
later? No, that just comes with being a weird kid. I've always seen cool stuff, things in the circus, and say, I want to do that. I want to learn how to do it, and I find a way to make it happen. I taught myself how to ride a unicycle. I taught myself how to use stilts, and to juggle. And
so here's a question. How the heck do you teach yourself how to ride a unicycle? Here's what I'm thinking, right?
Right.
You try and you fall off. How do you try and not fall off enough?
Well,
with a bike, you only fall like a couple inches.
And I remember doing this at our house in Chicago. The houses were built so close together that you could almost put a hand on each wall in between the houses. And so I'd ride with my hand on one wall, and then I'd go do two little pedals, and I'd touch the other wall. And just going back and forth between the houses. And
how do you get up on one?
I don't do the 8-foot one. I do the small, It's been years since I rode, and I probably break my neck now, but at the time, that's how.
And what about stilting? You learned it similar
in the same thing. You strap them on, you hold on to a wall, and you say, here goes nothing.
Oh my gosh.
And the older I get, the harder it is, because falling isn't as much fun.
Yeah.
But I've always just had this knack for being able to visualize it and do it. Mm-hmm. And that goes with everything.
Have you ever invented anything?
Yeah, I've got a couple weird things that are in the garage.
Dare I ask?
No, nothing that bad. But I built I've always had a fascination with the 1966 Batmobile. So I knew that I would never be able to afford one since the last one sold for $50 million or whatever it was. So I saw a hovercraft that was for sale. And I immediately went to it. I'm like, I'm going to make that the Batcraft.
Yeah.
So I've got this hovercraft that looks like the 1966 Batmobile parked in my garage.
Amazing. Amazing. Cool. Hello, we got to rinse it out for birthday parties.
Right?
Stuff. Jeez, that's awesome. Or Comic-Con.
Hey, Batman, do you have a penis? Bam,
right?
In the balls.
God,
okay, kid.
right?
That's why we don't do that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, for real. Oh, my God.
But Comic-Con, that might be cool to take it down there. I've talked about that.
Should.
Yeah, maybe.
You totally should. And I also know that someone with probably one of the most famous mustaches of all time.
Yanni?
Okay, that's a good guess. But no. Mr. Burt Reynolds.
Burt Reynolds, yes.
Yeah.
I have to say, I do know Burt.
How do you know Burt Reynolds?
One of the jobs that I had after I moved up to the Jupiter area, they were looking for a interim executive director to the Burt Reynolds Institute and Museum. And so I said, what the heck? It was in the area. I went and I applied. And I had never been up there. It was a really cool place. I didn't even know what it was. I knew that it was in Jupiter somewhere.
Yeah.
And I walked in, I'm like, holy shit, this is a museum.
Wow.
So I'm meeting with their board of directors, and I'm sitting in this office, and this woman, Suzanne, says, tell you what, excuse me a second, I'll be right back.
Oh my God,
and she leaves the room, and I'm just kind of sitting waiting, and in walks Burt Reynolds. And I swear to God, I mean, look at this, I'm getting goosebumps just right now thinking about it. It was unbelievable. Funny. In walks Burt freaking Reynolds. And I'm like, holy shit. I mean, the hair on my neck is standing up right now. And I couldn't believe that I was sitting right in front of the bandit. And he's asking me questions. I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. And he must have thought, what kind of idiot is this that we're thinking about hiring? And it was bizarre because where I was sitting and where he was sitting, behind him was a huge picture window in this upper office.
Yeah.
And I could see the entire museum behind him, which had all his awards and all his pictures. And my gaze would shift to, oh my God, there's the Deliverance canoe. Here's Burt Reynolds. And I was in such awe and so inspired by it. I grew up with this man, and he was an idol to me. And I had no idea he was, people say, yeah, he lived in Jupiter, but I never thought I would ever see him.
Right.
Long story short, I wound up getting the job.
Oh, my gosh.
And became very close with Burt. And I ran the museum for a while. Mm-hmm. And then Burt started doing his one-man show. Mm-hmm. And he asked me if I would be his creative director. And I was like, what? You want me to be his creative director? And so we would have a series of one-on-one conversations. He'd be telling me the stories of his life, which was just so phenomenal. I mean, he hung up with people like, the Three Stooges, and just, I mean, if you name it, he's hung out with them. Betty White, and just amazing stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bearskin rugs, probably the only unfortunate incident from his career.
And he's talking about it. One quick story?
Yeah, go for it, please.
One Christmas Eve, I'm sitting at home, and I get a phone call, and it's Bert. Bert's calling me on Christmas Eve. I'm like, hello?
Gosh.
He's like, hey, Scotty, I just got a new Blu-ray DVD player and a 3D TV. Do you think
this was really recent.
Yeah, 3 years ago, maybe? 3 years ago. Could you come over and hook it up? I'm like, it's Christmas Eve, Bert, but sure. So I get in my car, I drive up to his house. He's like, here, it's in here. And we go upstairs to his room. I'm like, what? So I'm hooking it up, and at one point,
I'm
in his
bedroom?
Around. Yeah. And I'm crawling around, hooking this thing up, and I'm laughing to myself. He goes, what's so funny? I said, here it is, Christmas Eve, and I'm on my hands and knees in Burt Reynolds' bedroom. If these walls could talk, oh my God. It was just one of the greatest things ever.
Oh my gosh, how bizarre.
It really was, but it was just such an amazing man.
Wow.
And so I took classes up there also, I still do, and you were talking about improv earlier.
Yeah.
If you're ever looking, Thursday nights, they still have the Burt Reynolds Institute. They do improv classes in Park, what's it called? Where's Jason from?
Lake Park.
Up in Lake Park. So you should come and check him out sometime.
Absolutely, I will. Absolutely.
He's just such an amazing man, and he really put it all in perspective. His whole theory and motto is give back.
Good.
And
so I was actually going to ask you, because sometimes when you meet someone that you like, you end up being really disappointed. But it sounds like
I know it sounds weird, but I love the man. He's just he is one of the most amazing people I have ever met. Just giving, every time I go over there with Eli, he'd give him something, whether it was a DVD or a kaleidoscope or something from his collection. Here, I want you to have this. I'm like, you don't have to do that, Bert. He goes, no, I want to. And just what amazing man.
Wow, that's really special.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, and he also did tons of, kind of skipping around a little bit, but, kind of going back into your graphic design. You did a lot of work during the campaign to help get KVJ back on. I mean, a lot of work for that campaign. And do you want to do more graphic design work? Is that what you're interested in?
I do. I love putting it all together. I like, being able to take pictures, and I like, creating fonts, and I really enjoy that sort of thing.
What area? Because gosh, you're talking actor, magician, crazy character on the side of the road, like stand-up comedy. So many different things. What is the common part of you that all of that feeds?
I love art.
Yeah.
Whether it be performing or visual, and I like making people smile, and that's really it. So,
that's great.
Growing up, I used to do all kinds of crazy stuff in the house. My grandmother, the house would echo with her laughter, and that I knew. Don't make me cry.
Oh.
So that really.
Is this your step grandfather's wife?
Yeah, okay. My father's mother.
Right. Okay.
So she was such an inspiration on my character, who I am now. The desire to make people laugh. She had a great sense of humor. She always had some kind of rude joke that she shouldn't be telling in front of the kids. And she was very well endowed. And she always used to grab her bosom and say, "You're into real estate? How much are these worth?" But she was so funny, and that really gave me the passion to make people laugh and to give that back. And
did you have brothers and sisters?
I've got a younger sister who just moved down to Florida 2 years ago.
What were you guys like together growing up? Are you guys
really
very
close.
similar or different?
Yeah, she was always, believe it or not, she was the verbal one, and I was the quiet, shy one. Yeah.
Huh.
So I could never get in her word in edgewise with her around.
No way. Yeah. Is that still true today?
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
That's so fun. So tell me about one really cool thing I know that you did maybe like 6 months ago. Was that e-cig commercial?
Oh yeah.
What was that about? And how did you get involved with that? And where did that come from? It was an infomercial, right?
It was an infomercial that I still don't think has ever aired. They shot 2 of them. A friend of mine knew I was an actor and he was shooting this infomercial and said, hey, you know, I think you'd be perfect for this. Why don't you come and read for it?
Yeah.
So I said, sure, why not? I was in Boynton on my lunchtime. I went down there and I read. And they liked it. And so they cast me. They actually were going to have me the exclusive. And then they thought, you know what, let's shoot this 2 different ways. So they had me and another dude.
Okay.
And I did this character. It was definitely very John Lovitz. That's what they wanted, John Lovitz.
He's one of my
Here's the info commercial about e-cigarettes, and here's how good it is for you. So I did this whole
really
commercial
good.
just like John Lovitz.
That's really good.
And they loved it. It was so damn funny. I saw the final commercial, and it was
You should do voiceovers.
That, Jimmy, that is my dream
Me
job.
too.
If I could do one thing, it would be simply doing voiceovers for cartoons and stuff.
Me
That
too.
is my goal.
And actually, when I realized I wanted to do it, I was, I don't know, in college maybe, and for some reason I was stuck on this show. It was like told the stories of like a baby being born. It was followed a different baby. I don't know. But anyways, the mother in this one particular episode, she did the voice on one of the characters on Sesame Street.
Oh, cool.
So they showed her going to work in her pajamas, and she went into a booth and she just did the voice. She had the most amazing time. It was so much fun. I was like, I want to do that.
That's what I want to do. That's awesome. That would really be cool.
Yeah,
In fact, people often say that I sound like Ernie. Yeah, I sound like Ernie from Sesame Street or Kermit, either one.
I've never thought about that.
And now every time I talk to you on the phone, you're going, hey, Jimmy, and Tanya, how you doing?
You can pull all that off. You do great voices.
Yeah, I love that. That would make my life so happy.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing about where I work, because oftentimes they'll need a crazy voiceover for something, and they're like, hey, Scotty, can you come in here?
To do it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
fun.
So I did a 007 and a Dr. Evil one a couple months ago.
No
way.
It's cool. What, do you go into like a sound booth?
Yeah, they got a full recording studio there. It's like,
No
man,
kidding.
I would love to do that full time.
Oh, that is really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that you work someplace that you get to do these little creative things. Like you even did I don't know if you did this at work or not, but the Clowns Have Murderous Ways poster.
Yes.
You made that.
No, I did not do that at work.
Okay, you did not do that at work. But, I mean, it's an amazing poster.
Thank you.
And, starring yours truly, which, of course is going to be phenomenal. But,
Right.
No, so you got to act in that movie. You got to do, the movie poster and stuff. Like, was that really fun for you? What was that experience like doing that movie? Clowns Have Murderous Ways. It was
Clowns Have Murderous
so
Ways. You can find that on YouTube.
so much fun.
I love it. I love getting in front of the camera, and like I said, I love the magic of movies and how it all comes together.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really fun time. It was a great ensemble of people. It was done on a shoestring budget, and it wasn't that serious that we had to be serious about it.
Right.
But it was serious enough that we wanted to give it our best anyhow.
Right.
So it was really cool.
It was good.
But I love movies. In fact, I sent you a link. I did a movie a couple years ago that I wrote and directed, and it was filmed in Lake Worth.
Called?
And it's called Lumiere Fantôme, the Ghost Light.
Ooh.
And it's all about the semi-true story about how the Lake Worth Theater is haunted. And so I really like that because I had full control over everything,
Is that what's on your... Because I know you had an IMDb. Is that what's on your IMDb?
That's on there, sure. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's cool. And Burt Reynolds did the narration on it.
No kidding!
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I have to see it.
Dude, watch it. You'll
Totally
like it.
have to see it.
Yeah, you'll like it.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so we have a couple more fan questions.
Okay.
So, and actually from the same fan, Lynn. You know Lynn Morris. Well, you...
Hello, Lynn.
Hello.
There's people looking at me. I know you, what am I?
What was the chair's name? Rosie? Was it Rosie? That was
Cherry,
the chair?
wasn't it?
Was it Cherry?
Cherry,
Where am I getting Rosie from?
Rosie the robot from the Jetsons.
Oh, you're probably right. Anyways, I wish I knew how to impersonate Cherry. We'd go together, but I'm terrible at impersonations. But Lynn wanted to know, who was your biggest influence or mentor in getting into the entertainment business? Was it your step-grandfather, would you say, or?
No, I would say no. My biggest mentor getting into it, I would probably have to say it might have even been John Hughes. Because growing up, I'd see his movies. I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I want to be that kid. I want to be Michael Anthony Hall.
Yeah. Sounds fun.
Although, actually, let me think back a little further. I had a director who, when I was really little, his name was Mickey Henningsen. They called him the Dragon. And Mickey was the best acting coach I ever had. He was an old Irish guy who smoked and he drank, even during, class, because smoking was still acceptable.
Right.
And we were little kids. We were like maybe 8, 9, 10, 12, whatever it was. And he'd be smoking and yelling, "Nah, you didn't do that right. Go fucking do it again." And my parents would hate that I'd go to this acting guy because he had such a foul sailor mouth. But he was so amazing, and it was him. He was the biggest driving force in my creative.
What's the name again?
Mickey Henningsen.
Mickey Henningsen.
Like mouse, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the dragon.
Huh.
Rest his soul. I still have pictures of him on my laptop.
Yeah. He was that important, huh?
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
And what do you want for the future of your entertainment career, she's asking too.
Wow.
What does the future hold for Mr.
I don't know what
Scotty
the future holds.
Fusion?
If I had my dream is to be on a sitcom. That's what I would really love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of sitcom? Any?
I'd like to be like Kramer. I want to be the wacky neighbor. I mean, I don't need to be the lead dude. I want to be a supporting cast member.
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That would make me so happy.
I think you'd be great.
Yeah.
So acting, doing voiceover work, and photography, and you're happy to camper.
Yeah.
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 That's good.
Yeah. And I love photography. I don't know that I would ever want to make it a full-time career.
Yeah.
Because I think it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I get it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And is there something that you haven't tried that you really want to do still?
I'm going to trapeze school next weekend.
Are you really?
Yeah, I am in Palm Beach. So
Oh, fun!
I've never tried it. I thought that'd be a cool thing.
Oh my gosh, that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've heard it's a real workout. Like it's a surprising workout.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really cool. I've never tried that, and it's something that I think it'll be really fun.
Didn't you travel with Cirque du Soleil or something?
Not Cirque du Soleil. It was Cirque Productions, who is the largest U.S.-based Cirque company to rival Cirque du Soleil.
Gotcha.
So they were based out of Boca. I toured with them for about 2 years.
And you did technical stuff for them, or okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, the stories I can tell you, but I can't tell you.
I can only
Let's just say next weekend might not be the first time I've been on a trapeze. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, hey now. Let the mind race with that one, ladies and gentlemen. And if you could work on any project, what would it be and who would it be with? I mean, you said a sitcom, but
yeah,
if you could basically mold anything for yourself.
I think I would write. Wow, that's really a hard question. I think I would. I would like to do a sitcom.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? Maybe not. I've also, I've got a couple ideas that I've done for screenplays that I would also love to see come to fruition. That might be really cool too.
Okay. Are these like full-length movies or shorts or really?
Full-length feature film. Yeah.
Huh. What kind of?
Let's just say, without giving too much away, kind of like
just the genre.
A growing up movie.
Okay,
How about
like
that?
a coming of
like
age
a
type
Goonies sort of thing.
Okay.
Stand By Me.
Okay.
That sort of thing. I think I got a cool one that's brewing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I know that you have a really good heart, a really big heart. And
Lies. Who told you that? I'm an evil bastard.
You bitch.
Sorry, the kids are looking at me. Sorry.
Yes, they're children like 15
I am an
feet away
evil
from-
bad person.
Give us your best villain laugh.
I am evil.
So creepy.
I have candy in my pocket. Yeah.
Okay, you just made it even creepier.
Sorry. we'll fix that in post, right?
Oh my gosh. So, but where I was going with this is I know that you and I have both of our. I know my favorite charity, and probably I think your favorite charity is Little Smiles. We both really love that charity.
Yes.
And I know that you recently set up a place where people can go to get some merchandise, and it goes to benefit Little Smiles. Do you want to share where people can find that?
Sure. You could go to my Cafe Press store, and within there they have all kinds of KVJ Nation mugs and T-shirts and flasks and whatever. And I think you could also get Scotty Fusion shirts and stuff there from back in the day when I was having that stuff out there. So, but yeah, all the proceeds will be donated directly to Little Smiles. So buy lots of stuff so we could help this great organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they can find that stuff on littlesmiles.org. Yep. They can find, I know your photography's on Scotty Fusion Photography.
Scotty Fusion.
I know that, where else can they find you? Is it Twitter?
Scotty_Fusion on Instagram.
I think it's Scotty Fusion, one word on Twitter.
Yes, Scotty Fusion, one word.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
I'm still figuring this out. Jimmy's helping me get through this. I never tweeted until I met Jimmy, and now I'm a twit. So.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And for a long time, you really frustrated the crap out of me because your thing was set to private. I'm like, I want to retweet you.
I don't know how to do this.
It worked out.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, thank you so much for talking to me and everything. I think you're fascinating.
Well,
I think everything that you've done is completely amazing. From, you know, a Gerber baby to crawling under Burt Reynolds' bed. I mean, like, that just blows my mind.
Yeah,
so
mine too. I've had an amazing life, and I hope the next 50 years are as good as the last 50.
I think they
for sure.
will be amazing.
And if I could just say one thing, I know that the whole Curve the Cube kind of thing is talking about pursuing your dreams and making your dreams happen. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid to pursue what you love to do. If you want to do it, you'll find a way to make it happen. And I just can't stress that enough. Again, the goosebumps are coming up on my arms.
They totally are.
Yeah,
That's
do it.
awesome.
Don't wait another day. If there's something you want to do, it doesn't mean you have to do it professionally for the rest of your life. But if you want to sing, go sing. If you want to do puppet shows, do puppet shows or whatever.
Yep.
If you want to raise horses or foster puppies and kittens, do it. Don't wait another day because you never know what tomorrow holds.
Amen to that.
Amen, sister. Hop on me.
Do you want to close out the podcast?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Say it's been however you want to say it. Scotty Fusion with Curve the Cube.
This has been Scotty Fusion with Curve the Cube. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. How's that?
That was perfect.
Right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Jimmy. It was awesome.
Yeah, you
good
were
therapy.
awesome.
Really good therapy. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Like I said, I hate talking about myself.
You did great though.
I don't like it. I feel really uncomfortable.
You did great though.
Thank you.
And it was also fun just talking to you. You know?
That was the fun part.
That was
I
fun.
hate me. Really.
But see, it's funny. That's what fascinates me. I like finding out about people.
Nice.
So good stuff. Yay.
You have successfully curved the cube.